I never imagined I would find myself in such a place, overwhelmed by sorrow, confusion, and the crushing weight of my own mistakes. My name is Sophia. I'm 24 years old. My husband, or perhaps now my former husband, is 26. We were married for 3 years, having fallen deeply in love during our college days. I once believed our bond was unbreakable. Not perfect, but steady, dependable, and strong. Ethan was my anchor, steady, composed, endlessly patient and understanding. Looking back, I realize how much I failed to cherish his unwavering support. How blindly I overlooked the man who stood by me through every storm. Our personalities were like night and day. Ethan was reserved and thoughtful, finding joy in quiet moments with a novel in hand or immersed in a historical film. I, on the other hand, was drawn to the spotlight, thriving on lively gatherings, laughter, and the electric energy of a crowded room. Ethan never tried to dim my spark. He showed up to every event I insisted on attending, wearing a brave smile through the chaos just to make me happy. Even when it was clear he felt out of place, he never voiced a single complaint. He was always there, bringing me my favorite cappuccino, rearranging his schedule to accommodate my needs, quietly managing every household chore. We hadn't started a family yet, and I wasn't employed. Ethan took care of the cooking, cleaning, and finances without ever making me feel indebted. But instead of appreciating his selflessness, I began to see it as a weakness, a flaw in his character. The trouble started when I reconnected with a group of old college acquaintances. They lived for spontaneity, wild nights, reckless escapades, a carefree spirit that felt intoxicating. They told me I was too young to be so settled, that my vibrant personality was far too big for someone as subdued as Ethan. Foolishly, I started to believe them. One evening, after too many cocktails, I began mocking Ethan. I made cruel jokes about how he always followed my lead, how he'd probably do anything I asked without question. My friends laughed, I laughed, and for a brief moment, I felt powerful, in control. But that control was cruel, and I was too caught up in it to see the damage I was doing. That night wasn't a one-time lapse. It became a pattern. I let my friends ridicule Ethan, and instead of standing up for him, I joined in. They called him whipped, teased that I was the one in charge, and I basked in their approval as if it validated me. Ethan never confronted me, even when he overheard their cutting remarks. He remained the same kind, dependable man, showing up with quiet loyalty day after day. I mistook his restraint for weakness, believing he'd never walk away because his love seemed unbreakable. I began disrespecting him openly. In dinners and gatherings, I cut him off mid-sentence, brushed aside his opinions, acted like he wasn't even there. My behavior set the tone, and soon others followed suit, treating him with the same dismissiveness. Yet Ethan never lashed out. He still brought me flowers, kissed me goodnight, and told me he loved me every morning without fail. Then came the night everything fell apart. It was a community cookout, and Ethan was at the grill, as usual, serving everyone with a warm smile. I was drinking with my friends when the conversation turned to our spouses. One of them made a snide remark about Ethan being well-behaved. I escalated it, laughing loudly, calling him spineless, saying he lacked the courage to stand up to me. I was performing, feeding off the laughter, completely unaware of the shift in the air. Suddenly, a heavy silence fell. I looked up and saw Ethan standing nearby. His face was calm, but his eyes were sharp, determined in a way I had never seen before. He said softly but firmly, "We need to talk." I followed him, heart pounding with dread. I wasn't ready for what came next. In a quiet corner, he looked me in the eyes and said, "I'm done being your punching bag. I've given you everything, and all you've done is tear me apart. I'm leaving. Your things will be on the porch." Then he turned and walked away. I ran after him, certain he didn't mean it. But when I reached our home, my bags were already packed, neatly arranged outside. I sobbed. I pleaded. I poured out apologies. But Ethan didn't raise his voice or waver. He just said, "No more. You can't treat me like this and expect me to stay." When I refused to leave, he calmly warned that he would call the authorities if I didn't go. That's when the truth crashed over me like a tidal wave. This was real. The man I thought would never stand up for himself had finally reached his limit. That night, I left with only one suitcase, tears streaming as I passed neighbors who had witnessed everything. No one spoke, not even the friends who used to laugh with me. I see now they were never truly my friends. It's been days since I've stayed at my parents' house, sleeping in my old room, haunted by regret and mistakes. Ethan hasn't answered my calls or replied to my messages, and I'm beginning to fear he never will. I don't know if I can repair what I've broken or even where to start. All I know is that I destroyed something precious and rare. I pushed away a man who loved me with his entire soul. All because I chased the fleeting approval of people who never truly cared about me. I belittled the one person who valued me above all else. Ethan found his strength. And in doing so, I lost him forever. I needed to write this down, to confess it to someone, anyone. Some may judge me harshly. Perhaps I deserve it. But this is my truth, raw and unfiltered.